This season on The Mole, 12 players traveled to South America to work together to accomplish a series of missions. But one of them was there only to sabotage.
Oh, crap!
It was up to the other 11 players to uncover the saboteur among them and to answer the question, who is the mole? The players struggled to add money to the pot.
That's bad, that's bull!
And suspicious behavior was rampant.
You're going back towards the soccer field.
I know, but this is a shortcut.
The mole is at work right now.
One by one, players were swiftly executed.
Marcy, Liz, Allie, Bobby, Victoria.
No wiser to the identity of the mole.
They got me. They got me good.
The game was taking its toll.
I couldn't breathe.
It's friggin' sadistic.
And the players were on edge.
You're a moron. You want to get outside the van?
I'll step out of the van.
When Kristen was executed, Nicole found herself the only woman left in the game. Alex couldn't find his footing and became the mole's next victim.
Knew it.
And Mark's coalition partner, Clay, quickly followed suit. When Mark secured the game's final exemption, Paul's in-your-face gameplay couldn't keep his face in the game any longer. With Craig, Mark, and Nicole in the final three, the players worked together to push the pot over $400,000.
Yes!
But it was every man or woman for themselves in the game's final mission.
I got a motor.
Where Mark finished first and chose to view the mole's dossier, giving him a potential leg up on the final quiz, which was 20 questions about the mole covering the entire game. Tonight, we reveal the winner of $420,000.
The culmination of the adventure of a lifetime.
And finally answer the all-important question, who is the mole? 12 strangers, 10 weeks, one winner, taking home up to $500,000. But one of them is being paid to deceive the others and sabotage their missions. That person is the mole. The player that figures out who the mole is and does the best job of tracking and remembering their every move wins the money. Can you figure it out? Who is the mole? Welcome to the finale of The Mole. Hello, everybody. I'm John Kelly, and tonight we reveal who the winner is of $420,000, and of course, who is the mole. We'll also show you how the mole sabotaged throughout this season and let you in on the hidden clues to the mole's identity. It's been 12 weeks since Nicole, Craig, and Mark took that final quiz in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The results are in. The 3 finalists are waiting behind these locked doors. The 9 executed players are also here together for the very first time since they left the game. Soon, we will all find out who has won the game. But more importantly, who has been sabotaging missions from the very beginning. Each of the finalists exhibited suspicious behavior throughout this game. Let's take a closer look at a few of their suspicious moments. Nicole revealed shady behavior early on.
Green apple? So that was a green apple.
Again?
Okay.
Green apple number 2.
Incorrect.
Ugh. You get 2 green apples. That's just ridiculous.
When given a chance to redeem herself, Nicole still couldn't get it right.
227.
227? No,
Can't be.
Nicole says it's 227. Everybody instantly looks at her and goes, not.
I went through and counted every single thing.
She's trying to mess this thing up.
Mole.
Exactly.
Mole.
Craig raised suspicions by breaking a clearly stated rule.
Slow. Grapes, bananas.
It was a little fishy when Craig and Victoria kept rambling on and on. I mean, I want to just tell them to stop talking.
There was to be no talking beyond the finish line. Therefore, you earn $0. But Craig's suspect behavior was far from over. You'll be the man designating the forms of transportation that each of your fellow players will be using.
I'm not gonna make it easy for you guys. Kristen, you're gonna be using the stilts.
You're gonna make me look like some circus freak.
This is a llama, and Nicole, you will be at the head. Paul, you will be bringing up the rear.
How dare you?
So we're opting out.
I am. I'll opt out.
That means Craig earns the exemption,
Well, he didn't earn it.
and not a single penny goes into the pot. Mark also had his fair share of dubious deeds.
Nice!
He thought only of himself when he pushed hard to get an exemption and keep money out of the pot.
I don't care if I have to put the bike on my back. I'm going to get the exemption, period.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
$35,000 out the window and making our odds of being executed a lot greater.
Mark then had a costly change of heart. You have to convince the charitable people of Santiago to give you the clothes off their backs. The robes don't go. Mark, more than happy to take them off.
Kind of questioning Mark. He immediately dropped his robe, so it was really interesting how Mark said he would do it in the beginning.
I'm up.
But then he backed out.
The mission hasn't even started yet, and already we're down $10,000.
When we return, we reveal the winner of $420,000 and finally answer the question, who is the mole? We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Mole finale. I'm here with the 9 executed players, together for the first time since they were executed. Bobby was one of the most controversial players in the game. Why don't we take a little walk down memory lane? From the beginning, Bobby billed himself as the biggest fan in the history of the Mole.
I've been obsessed with the Mole since it started. Being a fan of the show will definitely give me a leg up against the other players.
Bobby even bragged about his physical prowess in his application video.
Ready, set, go.
This dynamo was going to be an unstoppable force in the game, tearing up everything and everyone that got in his way.
Rain or shine, doesn't stop Bobby, y'all.
Oh my gosh, I really hate onions.
Until reality set in. From day one, Bobby's body just couldn't keep up with the demands of the game.
I can't move, like seriously, I can't even, my heart is like dying.
Bobby O's like an 80-year-old war veteran.
It was kind of embarrassing. I can only do so much, you know?
I can't move. I can't do this. I need water.
He is so fragile. If you go like this, he'll blow right over. We're the slowest team. You know, wonder why.
Bobby!
Yes, I look pretty bad and I'm doing pretty awful.
Well,
But I feel like I could only go up from here.
Oh, Bobby, you look good now. My question is, how you feeling?
I feel great. Thanks for asking.
We saw you limping around a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly what was your medical diagnosis there?
Well, what happened was I just wore myself out at the beginning. I sprinted right off the bat, and I hurt all these muscles in my legs, and I had to get medication for it. Got injured, and then I felt worthless, and people said I was worthless, so I felt bad.
Been a blast to have you on the show, so we kid because we love you.
I know, John. Thanks.
Okay, it's finally time to find out who is the winner and who is the mole. The results are in. The player who scored the highest on that final quiz wins all the money in the pot, $420,000. Craig, Mark, and Nicole are each behind one of these 3 locked doors. I have 3 keys right here in my hand, 1 for each door. But only one of these keys will open the winner's door. Are you ready?
Yes!
Let's find out who won all the money. Congratulations, Mark.
Wow.
How surprised are you?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked and I'm humbled. Really, I mean, these people were amazing, all of them. Incredible competitors. You know, the whole reason I did this was so that my wife wouldn't have to work anymore. And that if I could make enough money that my wife could just stay home with our children, especially with the new baby, that would give me an incredible sense of accomplishment. You know, I mean, I can't believe it.
Congratulations, Mark. Well, okay, we know who the winner is, and now it's time to find out who is the mole. This key opens the door to the mole. Of course, Mark, you obviously know who the mole is. Would you please do me the pleasure? Take that key and open the door. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the mole. We have just discovered that Mark is the winner of the $420,000 grand prize. Now, he will open the door, finally revealing the mole. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the mole. Craig, you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you very much.
Anything to say to the winner?
I think you were built for this game, both mentally, physically, even things that people thought would hold you back. I think you turned around and used as a strength. And I'm proud of you. I think you did it for all the right reasons. Amazing.
Thank you.
Well, there's one more person that needs to join this party. Nicole, come on out.
Hey.
Congratulations. Nicole, you played an outstanding game as well. Congratulations. It was a pleasure to follow all of you.
It was interesting.
Nicole was one of the most formidable players in the game, but ultimately in the end, she became the mole's final victim. Let's take a look at Nicole's story and how she was able to come through on her vow to beat her archenemy, Paul. Nicole rubbed everyone the wrong way from the beginning.
I'm not sleeping outside. Absolutely not.
Her strategy was simple: get under the skin of the players and draw suspicion to herself with strange behavior.
I'm not sleeping outside.
Are you one of the people that's supposed to be outside?
Yeah, but they said you had to sleep outside.
Right.
I'm not sleeping.
Nicole comes in, I got a way to circumvent the rules. If you can't do it, Nicole, you shouldn't be here.
My strategy is to be annoyed at everything that's going on and put suspicion on myself while I find out who the mole really is.
By the start of the Crusoe mission, it was clear Nicole hadn't made any friends. I want to know who you guys believe is the group's biggest whiner.
I have to say, Nicole.
Nicole.
Nicole. Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
But the whining paid off, because with that title came the game's first exemption. You are not here. That means you cannot be executed.
Excellent.
But she made a mortal enemy in Paul.
Nicole, from the first minute she opened her mouth, I just got a twinge down my spine. She is the type of person you'd love to hate.
Ironically, Paul was playing a very similar strategy to Nicole.
I've noticed that people are like extremely afraid of New Yorkers, so I'm gonna push people's buttons to get them off of their game.
Paul suspected Craig from day one.
Craig is right now my leading suspect to be the mole because he is just the person that you love to love. He's the last person that anyone would think is the mole.
His strategy was to divert attention away from Craig.
Who's your top three right now? On your list, who's your top three? Craig. There's no way. There's no way.
And create chaos whenever possible to distract the other players.
Nicole, every time I think I like her, she says something that I don't.
But Nicole gave him a taste of his own medicine.
I'm gonna kill you while you sleep.
Do we have to say that again?
I can do it and not leave any forensic evidence.
And the biggest rivalry in the game was born.
I will beat you in this game.
Paul took advantage of the death threat to rattle the other players and convince them Nicole was crazy.
I've been thinking about it all night, and it's messing with my head. Like, I don't know what to think. Like, I was afraid to take food from her today. I don't know.
I don't know if I'd eat anything she handed me.
I wouldn't. No.
Nicole bothers me. I think she's nuts. I really do.
As I started watching Nicole, it made me think, is she crazy? How can she be a doctor, yet threaten to kill people?
Oh, do I need to wheel you?
Meanwhile, Nicole thought Bobby was the mole.
Oh,
I was really concerned that the mole would accidentally drop our pigs because they got a leg cramp.
no, oh God.
By now, Paul's strategy was in full force. He would purposely launch personal attacks at dinners right before the quizzes in hopes of throwing people off their game.
You are the biggest punk I have ever met.
And Paul's plan was working. Bobby was thrown off and convinced Paul was the mole, which led to his demise. So Nicole quickly found herself looking for a new suspect. That was Victoria. Though Nicole was still not onto the mole, her amazing quiz-taking skills kept her in the game. After Victoria's execution, Nicole played the odds and targeted several players on the quiz: Kristen, Alex, and Craig. She continued with that strategy until only one of her suspects remained: Craig. But Nicole was still not 100% sure that Craig was the mole, and Paul's attacks
I think she's a psychopath.
were taking their toll, especially as she found herself the only woman left. When Nicole's mother arrived, she decided she'd had enough. She would quit the game by purposely throwing the quiz.
Do I really feel like dealing with these toxic people?
But when faced with a quiz, her pride would not allow her to do it.
Sorry.
Mark winning the exemption and securing a spot in the final three led to a Nicole and Paul face-off. They both knew Craig was the mole. Paul. And Nicole's vow to beat Paul at this game came true. That night, Paul and Nicole tied, but she beat him by only 4 seconds. And surprisingly, Nicole did not revel in her enemy's defeat.
I am actually kind of sorry to see him go. I mean, he was a great motivator because I wanted to kick his butt.
When Mark won the final mission and chose to view the mole's dossier, Nicole's confidence was shaken.
Now that Mark has been able to open the dossier, he will have a leg up on me.
Throughout the game, Nicole had a successful strategy of rattling players and drawing suspicion on herself.
No, we can do it.
She used her sharp intellect and succeeded in discovering the identity of the mole.
Jazz hands.
But ultimately, she couldn't beat Mark's meticulousness and tenacity.
Wow, that's a pretty good one, too.
That was really good.
You mind if I call you Whiner?
Dr. Weiner.
People really hated me during this game.
Green apple number 2.
I knew what I was doing playing the game, but it's still never easy
Kiss my ass, okay?
to be that person. But you gotta do what you gotta do to get to the top. I am Mullerific. That's why I'm the only girl left.
Well, Nicole, I got to be honest, I never really saw you and Paul hugging it out during the game. What was it specifically about Paul that got to you?
Maybe because he knew that I was going to be one of his greater adversaries, so he tried really hard, and he was almost right there, because I really almost threw that quiz. I just wanted to leave, so I wouldn't have to deal with him. It almost worked until I sat in front of that computer.
Paul, I'm curious, how is it knowing that you were the only player that was onto the mole from the beginning, and you still didn't win it? What's going through your mind?
There's not much you can say. I mean, you know, I had him off the bat. I mean, you know, reading his face, I could just tell from the first execution that it was Craig. I think there was a time in the room he was trying to convince me that it was Mark. And I said, dude, I was on to you since the first hour of this game. So don't even try to convince me that it's not you. You know? Now that I know that it's 4 seconds, it's like a dagger through the heart, man. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Allie, you thought Nicole was legitimately a little bit crazy. How serious were you?
Well, I mean, I don't think she's crazy now. You know, I really just sold.
You know, thanks a lot. Yeah, appreciate it.
It was just part of the game. It's all the game, you know.
When we return, we'll find out how Mark caught on to the mole and how he was able to escape execution so many times. We'll also show you what the mole sabotaged and how he was able to fool most of the players for so long.
Welcome back to The Mole. We've just discovered Mark is the winner of $420,000 and Craig is the mole. Later we'll find out just how Craig did it. But first,
let's take a look at how Mark caught on to Craig and how he won the game. Mark had a strong motivation to win the game.
I'm here to do well for my family. We have 2 daughters and a son, and right before I left for this, we found out that my wife is expecting a 4th child.
His strategy from day one was to form a coalition and share information. He found a perfect coalition partner in Clay, a man he felt he could trust.
I feel like Clay is an honorable person.
Together, they targeted Victoria as the mole.
What are you doing?
I feel good about V.
Yeah, I'm going heavy, Victoria.
Yeah.
At the next execution, there was a 3-way tie between Victoria, Alex, and Mark.
Oh, God.
Clay was safe with an exemption. Victoria had Craig on her radar, but as she was rushing through the quiz, she mistakenly hit a wrong answer.
And tonight, we have a tie.
Oh, great.
If not for her mistake, Mark would have been executed.
Oh, my God.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
But he lived to play another day.
That's insane.
Mark was always taking copious notes in his journal. Some players even thought he was obsessive. How much are you obsessing over those journals?
Some people a lot more than others, right, Mark?
I obsess over the book because if I go home, I want to go home knowing I did absolutely everything I could possibly have done.
When Mark's sacred journal was burned, it sent him into a tailspin.
It's freaking sadistic.
And he even started to doubt his coalition partner.
I have concerns that Clay, my coalition partner, might be the mole. He could be playing me.